In today's video, we're gonna see the story of Disney, the company that we all like. Currently, Disney makes $63 billion and has a profit of $3 billion. In the history of Disney, it is necessary to highlight the main acquisitions of the company that made it grow and become one of the most successful companies in the world. Disney's first purchase was in 2006, when it acquired Pixar for $7.4 billion. In 2009, Disney bought Marvel Entertainment for $4 billion. And 3 years later, in 2012, Disney acquired Lucasfilm with films like Star Wars for a value of $4 billion. The last acquisition was 21st Century Fox for an amount of $71,000 million. Now we're gonna see how this famous company started from scratch. Walt Disney's story began with the dream of a little boy who imagined that his cartoons and drawings would make him a famous artist. Since childhood, Walt was passionate about movies and drawings. For this reason, he learned the technique of drawing at the Kansas City Institute of Art. In 1923, Walt moved to Hollywood to start a new challenge. Roy Disney, who was one of the Disney brothers, saw potential on the ideas of his brother Walt. Walt had always wanted to set up his own animation studio, so Roy decided to invest in his idea to help his brother achieve his dream. Thanks to Roy's investment and the joint efforts of both brothers, they managed to set up a small studio in his uncle's garage. His first short film was a cartoon that Walt Disney made in Kansas City. It was called Alice Wonderland. The short was in black and white and also silent. Margaret Winkler was a New York film distributor that held a contract with Disney in 1923 to distribute Alice Wonderland. This marked the start of the Disney Brothers Company. The contract consisted of Winkler's payment to Disney Brother Cartoon Studios for 12 films. A price of $1,500 was established for each of them, as well as a contract for the transfer of intellectual property rights of everything that the company had created. The agreement was quite unfair, especially in terms of rights, but Walt and Roy were forced to sign the contract due to their poor financial situation. The name of the studio began as Disney Brother Cartoon Studio, since both brothers were partners and they had a common goal: to make cartoons. The creative soul of the company was Walt. He was the artist of the cartoons, and Roy was in charge of all the economic and financial issues, giving his brother Walt the opportunity to create his emblematic cartoons. However, Roy was aware of his brother's talent and wanted the rest of the world to see it. So a few years after, and by initiative of Roy, the name was changed to Walt Disney Studios, this name being the one that remains today. And Walt, to thank his brother, said, "You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream come true." And it was his brother Roy who helped him achieve and make his dream come true. Do you know who was the first Disney cartoon? Well, surprisingly, Mickey Mouse wasn't the first character that Walt Disney created for his first cartoons. It was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, with whom he had great success. Everything was going as usual. The studio was growing little by little due to his successful short films. The terrible thing happened for the Disney brothers, which was that the distributor Margaret Winkler married Charles Mintz, and he took over his wife's business. This man had a plan: get the brothers out of the way and take over Walt Disney Studio. For this reason, he offered the brothers a second contract, in which it was established that Walt Disney Studios had to produce 26 short cartoons with the successful character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. The contract said that Charles Mintz will keep the intellectual property rights of what was created by Disney. But Mintz began to sign Walt Disney Studios employees without the brothers knowing it, and Mintz, after having everything well organized and prepared, told Walt, "Come with me and you will receive a generous salary, or you will lose everything." Since the contract gave Mintz the intellectual property rights, Disney was unable to do anything and had to lose the most important character he had created. After that turning point was when Walt created the famous Mickey Mouse, and this character was enormously successful, much more than Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. A curious fact is that Mickey Mouse wasn't the initial name given to the famous cartoon. He was called Mortimer. but thanks to Walt's wife, Lillian, he was renamed Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney was awarded with 29 Oscars. In 1966, Walt Disney passed away due to a lung cancer. Another great dream of Walt Disney was to build a huge amusement park based on his characters, and as we all know, this was achieved with great success, as Disney has already 4 impressive amusement parks all around the world. The first Disneyland opened its doors on July 17 in 1955 in Anaheim, California. The Disney theme park, aimed at a more adult audience due to its attractions, emerged in 1971 at Orlando, Florida. After that, Disney opened their third Disneyland at Tokyo in 1983. The first Disneyland in Europe opened in 1992 at Paris, called Euro Disney Paris. Disney's main goal is to be in the homes of people who want to see their movies. For this reason, Walt Disney chose to televise his movies. Following these values, the company opened recently Disney Plus, which is a more advanced step where you can see all the movies in the history of Disney. Disney Plus was launched on November 12, 2019. On the launch day, more than 10 million subscriptions were made, and in April 2020, Disney achieved the 50 million subscriptions.